The content of this podcast is provided for general informational purposes only and is not intended as, nor should it be considered a substitute for professional medical advice.
Hello, this is Karen Nickel, family nurse practitioner, and you are listening to Itchy and Bitchy, a podcast that provides answers to your many unanswered health questions. Before I start, I want to remind you about my course called the Perimenopause Answer. If you are going through this phase in life called perimenopause, I would love to have the opportunity to talk to you about the course to see if it's the right fit for you. I have really enjoyed getting to know many of you through these meetings, and I'm so grateful to you for listening to and sharing the podcast. There is a link on our website, itchyandbitchy.com, and our Facebook page, IMB Podcast, where you can schedule an appointment for a Zoom call with me. I'm going to say it again. This is a Zoom call with me. It is not a webinar. When you make that appointment, I will be sitting at my desk waiting for you to join the one-on-one Zoom call. Many women tell me that they are eating a balanced diet and exercising regularly and are still wondering, why am I not losing weight? There may be several factors that could be contributing to weight that is stubbornly hanging on. Things such as medications you're taking, the way you're exercising, or your eating patterns could be in the mix. I know you may think I'm crazy for saying this, but you may be doing too much cardio. Cardio is a necessary part of our workout routine as it helps keep your heart healthy. Yes, we want that. Aerobic exercise keeps your heart strong. It helps prevent diabetes, helps prevent Alzheimer's and several cancers. It improves sleep and lessens stress. Still, if you are doing too much cardio and you are not eating enough, this combo may lower your metabolism because your body thinks it needs to conserve energy. The American Heart Association recommends you get 150 minutes or 2.5 hours of moderate aerobic exercise per week or 75 minutes of vigorous aerobic exercise per week. That's just a maintenance recommendation. Women really, in addition to the cardio, women really need to do weightlifting or weight resistance training because increased muscle mass increases the number of calories you burn and the more fat you'll lose. So if you are already doing cardio, add weightlifting to your regimen. You can lose weight and build lean muscle by doing strength training in addition to your cardio. While we are talking about building muscle, I recommend that you listen to the episode released on March 2nd, 2024, titled Muscle is a Must. Can I say that right? Muscle is a Must, for guidelines on how much dietary protein is needed to build muscle. You have to be supplying healthy amounts of protein to your body to be able to build that muscle. A quick formula to calculate the number of grams of protein you need every day is to multiply your weight in pounds times 0.78. So your weight in pounds times 0.78. That will give you the number of grams of protein you should have daily. Another way to change up your exercise regimen to help with weight loss is to add interval training, which involves short bursts of all-out effort mixed into your regular session. This is effective at decreasing abdominal and visceral fat. The visceral fat is that fat that surrounds our abdominal organs that we definitely want to get rid of. Not allowing for recovery after a workout can make weight loss more difficult. Always include rest and recovery time after your workout. When you get enough recovery time, your body is better prepared for the next workout you do. Not resting can result in worse performance later. One way to provide rest to your muscles and still fit in the recommended amount of exercise each week is to focus on different muscle groups on different days. For example, you can do a lower body workout on a Monday and an upper body workout the next day. Personally, I use a Peloton app, not the bike system. I don't have the bike, just the app, and it has different classes, a lot of different classes. Part of their strength training class options is called Roll Call. Roll Call classes are designed to act as a weekly strength training program, with each Roll Call class focusing on a different muscle group per weekday. For instance, one day is full body, then body weight, glutes and legs, upper body, and core. For me, it just takes out the guesswork about what workout I should do each day. Another way to build in rest is to design your own workout routine that includes an entire weight resistance body workout one day, then take the next day to do light cardio or stretching or rest. Sitting for long periods may be the reason for weight gain or lack of weight loss. Research has found that your risk for obesity increases by 5% for every 2 hours of sitting. 5% for every 2 hours of sitting. I mentioned the American Heart Association recommendations for exercise per week, but health experts advise that adults be physically active for up to 300 minutes weekly for moderately to intense exercise, 300 minutes per week, or up to 150 minutes weekly for vigorous, intense exercise. If you are new to exercise, you need to be doing at least 60 minutes a week to start. Moving throughout the day is what matters the most. You can take movement breaks throughout the day, which can look like taking the stairs if accessible, parking farther away from your destination, and making extra trips to refill your water bottle. Many people take advantage of a standing desk to avoid sitting all day if you have a desk job. After this quick break, I'll share other methods to get rid of stubborn weight. So what else can we do to help stop this process of weight just hanging on? Well, some people focus all their energy on burning off calories and may not take the time to consider what they are putting in terms of calories. You can gain weight instead of losing if you consume more calories than you burn. Ensure you are eating enough calories to manage your weight while being physically active, but the amount of calories will differ based on your age, weight, height, and activity level. I will talk about how you figure out how many calories you need to maintain and lose weight in a minute or two. You want to aim for a balanced diet that includes eating fruits and vegetables every day. Limit added sugars, sodium, saturated fats, and trans fats. And you can do that by limiting processed foods. I'm back to that. Remember, always check labels and choose packaged foods with the fewest ingredients as possible. And mostly eat whole foods. You also want to include various protein sources from nuts and seeds to seafood and eggs. Again, listen to the Muscle is a Must episode released on March 2nd, 2024 for more detailed information on the importance of appropriate levels of protein and great sources of protein. You also want to include whole grains in your diet. Grains are not a no-no. You want to have whole grains in your diet like quinoa, brown rice, barley, and farro. Don't limit your macronutrients. Cutting out an entire macronutrient from your daily diet, like carbs, which are the body's primary energy source, this can deprive your body and increase the temptation to binge. Instead, consider adding the following macronutrients: healthy fats, Foods with healthy fats or unsaturated fats include chia seeds, hemp seeds, avocados, nuts, and fatty fish like salmon or sardines. Include healthy fats in your diet. Another important macronutrient is lean meat or plant-based proteins. These include lean pork loin, chicken, turkey, beans, lentils. Again, refer back to that Muscle is a Must episode to hear more protein choices. Include healthy, complex carbs like sweet potatoes, oats, and quinoa. You do want to limit simple carbs like candy, soda, sugary sweets, and processed foods with added sugar. As I am sure you know, overeating can hinder weight loss. That seems obvious. Your body needs to run a calorie deficit to lose weight, meaning you need to burn more calories than you consume. If you don't know how many calories a day you need to eat to lose weight, you can use this easy formula. First, you want to use this formula to find out how many calories you need to maintain your current weight. You multiply your current weight by 13 if you do not exercise at all. Again, take your current weight and multiply it times 13 if you do not exercise at all. You multiply your weight by 15 if you are moderately active. And moderately active means getting at least 30 minutes of physical activity a day in the form of exercise. Walking at a brisk pace, climbing stairs, active gardening, that kind of thing. Or multiply your weight by 18 if you are very active and do intense exercise 6 to 7 days a week. So, let's say you're a woman who is 5 feet 4 inches tall and weighs 155 pounds and you want to lose about 15 pounds. You multiply 155 by 15 because she's doing moderate exercise, so we're going to multiply it times 15. That equals 2,325. 2,325. This is the number of calories per day that she would need in order to maintain her current weight, which is what she doesn't want to do. So, to maintain her current weight of 155, she would need to be eating 2,300 calories, a little over 2,300 calories a day. So, if our example woman's goal is to lose weight, she will need to eat fewer than 2,300 calories a day. So if you reduce your daily calorie intake by 100 calories a day, let's just remove 100 calories a day, you'll lose about 10 pounds over a year's time. If you reduce your calories by 200 calories a day and burn 300 calories daily with your exercise, you'll lose about a pound a week. Plus, studies have shown heart health benefits with cutting out just 200 calories a day. And one way to cut out 200 to 300 calories a day is to avoid drinking your calories. You can do this by cutting out one of these things every day. 2 cans of soda, cut out 2 cans of soda, or 2 cups of juice, or 2 12-ounce cans of beer, or 2 5-ounce glasses of wine. Keep in mind that you do not need to limit yourself too much either. Not eating enough can lead to an increased appetite and weight regain later. It can also reduce your metabolism, as I mentioned earlier. There are a lot of free calorie counting apps available, but if calorie counting just isn't for you, try to eat only when you're hungry. Only when you're hungry. Also, eat slowly enough so you can stop just before you get full. Do not be afraid to eat the foods you enjoy from time to time in a healthy amount. Make small goals for eating well, like adding 1 vegetable to each meal to make this more manageable. If you need additional support or information, try working with a registered dietitian. Another problem. Being poorly hydrated makes it harder to lose weight. I'm going to say that again. Being poorly hydrated makes it harder to lose weight. Keep yourself hydrated with water, whether you're active or not. A good rule of thumb to follow is to drink half your weight in ounces every day. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you would drink 75 ounces of water a day or fluids a day. That being said, if you have heart problems where you have some heart failure, your heart's not pumping well, that you don't want to follow that rule. Only if you have good heart health do you want to follow that hydration rule. Water also has several health benefits beyond helping you manage your weight, including it cushions and lubricates your joints. It helps your body get rid of wastes. It prevents dehydration, and it helps regulate your body temperature. So if you're having hot flashes, night sweats, that kind of thing, for you women out there, increasing your water intake can help that. When you don't get enough sleep, weight loss can be difficult. Most adults generally need 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night, and not getting enough sleep consistently can lead to weight gain. Research has linked sleep deprivation or loss of sleep to both obesity and an increased risk of future weight gain. That's because the same hormones, namely ghrelin and leptin, that play a role in the sleep cycle also affect your appetite. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone, so it sends a message for you to eat, and leptin is a satiety hormone that controls how full you feel. Ghrelin levels can increase and leptin levels can decrease when your sleep pattern is off balance. Those changes, that off balance hormone level, tend to result in more hunger and less fullness. For those of you who are longtime listeners, you have heard me talk about cortisol many, many times. Excess cortisol, a stress hormone, does many good things for us, like helping muscle function and reducing inflammation. But cortisol also causes negative effects, like gaining fat that takes a while to lose. If you are having elevated levels of cortisol for long periods, your body may produce excess cortisol if you experience great stress or anxiety in your personal or work life. I know a lot of us do that, but especially if it's persistent over long periods. If you are not taking enough rest days or you're working out too intensely, this is what I was talking about earlier. Sometimes I would see women who were doing intense cardio workouts and they didn't lose weight because they're driving up their cortisol levels. Also, if you are not getting enough good quality sleep, your cortisol levels can rise. Being told to reduce stress, just using those two words, is often unhelpful advice. But if you think stress is playing a role in your weight gain, consider where in your life you can start to alleviate it. You may have to learn how to say no to some things. I can say this to you because saying yes is my go-to answer, and I have worked hard to learn how to say no, and it is still a working process for me. I'm still working on being able to say no to things. If your stress or anxiety feels out of control, talking to a mental health professional may be just the ticket for you. There are certain medications that make it very difficult, if not impossible, to lose weight. Some examples are corticosteroids like prednisone, which is a synthetic version of our cortisol, prednisone, beta blockers that slow the heart rate, and insulin. Weight gain is a common side effect of other medications, including antidepressants, like selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or SSRIs. Those are medications like Prozac, Paxil, Lexapro, and Zoloft. The same is true for serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors, or SNRIs, like Effexor, Cymbalta, Pristiq, and Fetzima. Rosiglitazone, a medication for type 2 diabetes, is notorious for causing weight gain with significant difficulty losing weight. Valproate for seizure disorders is another one, and also antipsychotics like clozapine, olanzapine, and risperidone. If you are taking any of these medications or other meds that have the side effect of weight gain, please do not stop this medication on your own without talking to your healthcare provider. If you suspect your prescriptions are affecting your weight, talk to your provider about other options that might be appropriate for you. There are certain health conditions that may make it difficult to achieve weight loss. Examples include Cushing syndrome. We're back to this cortisol thing. This is a hormonal disorder that develops after long-term exposure to high levels of cortisol. This problem is usually managed by an endocrinologist. Depression. Those people with depression often don't feel like exercising, often don't eat a healthy diet, or they overeat, and the meds used to treat the problem often cause weight gain. Diabetes, insulin resistance, or PCOS are all problems that cause increased levels of sugar and insulin in the blood. When insulin and glucose levels are elevated in the blood, the body gets a fat storage message. So, controlling insulin and glucose levels in the blood can really help with weight loss. I also want to mention here that when women become menopausal, their risk for developing insulin resistance goes way up, which is part of the reason weight gain around the waist occurs. Remember that one of the main ways we fix insulin resistance is to exercise. Low levels of sex hormones are also a problem in terms of our weight management. Balanced sex hormones are so important in maintaining a healthy weight. In perimenopausal women who have hormone imbalances or menopausal women who have no female hormones, weight gain is typically in the waist and hips, and it is very common. Hypothyroidism is when your thyroid gland just isn't secreting enough thyroid hormone. If this problem is undiagnosed or undertreated, meaning your dose is not optimal, it's lower than what your body needs, weight gain can occur. Sometimes you exercise regularly and eat healthily, but the scale numbers do not change. Your weight loss may have plateaued. Say you've started losing weight, but then all of a sudden you weigh the same thing every day. You don't see more weight loss. And this can happen for many reasons. For example, a decrease in calorie consumption can result in an initial rapid drop in weight as your body burns stored sugar for energy. You might even lose a little muscle along with that. You may need to change your calorie intake or amp up your physical activity to begin to lose weight again. Sometimes when weight loss has slowed or plateaued, just changing how you divide up your calories during the day can get things going again. For instance, if you have reduced your calorie intake to, say, 1,800 calories a day and have been eating 3 meals of 600 calories each, you can divide those 1,800 calories. I don't want you eating 18 calories a day. That would be bad. 1,800 calories. So divide those 1,800 calories over 4 meals of 450 calories each. So you're not necessarily even lowering your calorie intake. You are just dividing it in a different way. And that sometimes will jog the hypothalamus and start the weight loss again. Weight also is not always the most accurate way to measure your health or fitness level. For example, you may see the scale stay the same or go up while you are losing fat. So you know you're losing fat, but you see the scale staying the same or going up because you could be gaining muscle. Also, weighing less is not always an indicator of good health. For instance, if you have a low or low normal body weight because you have low muscle mass and low bone density, you are at more risk for falls and injury due to falls. The body mass index, the BMI, is a measurement determined by your weight and height. If your BMI is 25 to 29, this is considered overweight. But if your BMI falls in this range and you feel this is actually normal for you, you can take an additional measurement to help determine if that is indeed normal for you. That measurement is a waist to hip ratio. You take your waist measurement and divide it by your hip measurement. The normal ratio for women is equal to or less than 0.8, and equal or less than 1.0 for men. So, say your BMI is 27, which is in the overweight range, and your waist to hip ratio is 0.78, which is normal. Then that BMI of 27 is normal for your build. So to summarize, one of the most important things to remember is to listen to your body. And one way to listen is to eat only when you're hungry. Add resistance training. This builds muscle and burns fat. And remember that muscle increases calorie burning. Work up to lifting actual weights by starting with body weight exercises like push-ups, squats, lunges, and then add weights. There are all kinds of exercise apps available. Again, personally, I use the Peloton app, and you don't have to have the Peloton bike. I do not have one. Engage in healthy snacking. Eat whole foods for snacks versus processed foods. Whole foods include fruits, veggies, and nuts. Give yourself time to recover after exercise. Try the measures I mentioned to allow appropriate rest between workouts. Keep your mental and emotional health in check. These aspects of your health are equally as important as your physical health. And mix up your exercises in order to balance cardio and strength training well. Thank you for listening and for sharing the podcast with others. If you listen using the Apple Podcast app, please leave a review and rate the podcast. Your reviews and ratings matter. I encourage you to visit our Facebook page, IMB Podcasts, where you can leave comments or questions for me. Our website is itchyandbitchy.com, where we have blogs with some of our subjects available for you to read. On the Facebook page and website, we have the information about how to schedule an appointment with me. It's not a webinar, so we can chat about how my perimenopause course can help you if you are going through this phase in life. As always, thanks to Forrest Winsel, our producer and composer of our theme music, and the person who does all the behind-the-scenes work to make this podcast possible. Thanks, Forrest. Check out his album called An Awful Lot. Go to wherever you stream your favorite music to listen, and if you don't know where to stream music, you can find the album on Apple Music or Spotify. Remember, your health is in your hands.